It doesn't happen all at once. No thunder, no crisis, just a slow drift, a fading flame. One day the family prays together. The next someone's too tired. A week passes, then a month, and without a sound, prayer disappears. The crucifix is still on the wall, the holy water font still by the door. But the fire, the living, breathing faith has grown cold. Pope Leo XIV calls it the quiet erosion of the domestic church. He warns, many homes today have become museums of faith, not monasteries of it. You may recognize this. Your children no longer ask to go to Mass. Your spouse used to pray the rosary with you but now says, let's do it tomorrow. Dinner passes without a blessing. Days without a thank God. Nights without an Our Father. Not from rebellion, but from routine. And slowly the holy becomes the forgotten. The Catechism teaches that the family is the first place of faith. It is the church in miniature, a holy ground, a sanctuary, a school of love. But when it loses its center, it becomes just a house, a place of motion, not meaning. St. John Paul II once said, as the family goes, so goes the world. But today too many families are going, and going fast, away from the altar. Pope Leo tells of a family who once prayed nightly by candlelight. Then came busyness, sports, phones, sleepiness. God understands, they said. And yes, he does. But he also waits, not with anger, but with longing. The Holy Father urges us, return to the fire, rebuild the hearth. Let the home become a chapel again. You don't need to start with long prayers. Begin with one Our Father before dinner. Place a candle at the center of your table. Pick up the rosary even if only for one decade. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to remember who is at the center, and to gently, lovingly turn back. Children are always watching. They learn not from lectures, but from love, from what they see, from what you do, from what you don't do. And the greatest tragedy is not that children reject the faith, but that they never see it lived. Pope Leo XIV shares this with sorrow. A child who sees a cold altar at home may never believe the fire was real. You can tell them to believe in God, but if they never see you kneel, you can remind them of Sunday Mass. But if your words are rushed, your tone distracted, your phone in hand while you speak of heaven, they learn something else. That faith is not serious. That prayer is optional. That God can wait. The Church teaches that the parents are the first teachers of prayer, not priests, not catechists. And your lesson is not in books. It is in your tears, in your blessings, in your small, daily rituals of devotion. Saint Monica wept and prayed for her son, Augustine. She did not lecture him. She did not argue theology. She knelt. She cried. She offered her motherhood as sacrifice. And it changed history. But what if, instead of tears, we offer excuses? What if, instead of visible prayer, we offer only noise? Pope Leo tells of a young boy who asked his father, "Why don't we ever pray at home?" The father, embarrassed, said, "We're just busy." The boy replied, "But we always have time for the TV." That boy grew up. He never returned to Mass. This is not condemnation. It is invitation. You can begin again, right now. Light a candle tonight. Say a prayer with your children, even if they roll their eyes. Bless them with the sign of the cross as they sleep. They may resist now, but their souls remember. They will remember the light, and one day they may follow it back home. You bless your food, sometimes. You bless your children when they're sick. But when was the last time you blessed your home? Not just with a casual prayer. Not just once, years ago when you moved in. But truly, intentionally, as the early Christians did, marking the doors, sprinkling holy water, reclaiming the space for God. Pope Leo XIV teaches, the devil does not need to enter the church if he has already taken the home. And how does he enter? Not through some great act of evil, but through neglect. When prayer leaves the dinner table. When the TV becomes the altar. When everyone is under the same roof but no one is truly present. The Catechism reminds us that the home should be a domestic church. A place where grace flows, where the gospel is lived, where Christ is host, not guest. But for many, the home has become just a building. And the air feels heavy. Conversations become short. Rooms feel cold. Not physically, but spiritually. Pope Leo shares a story. A woman once asked him why her house felt off. She had no explanation, just an unease. He asked her, "When was the last time you prayed in your living room?" She couldn't remember. He sent a priest. They blessed the home together. Peace returned. This is not magic. This is faith in action. A home that is not prayed in becomes vulnerable, not because God is absent, but because we have stopped inviting him. So today do something small, but sacred. Sprinkle holy water at your doors. Place a crucifix in your hallway. Pray a decade of the rosary in your kitchen. It doesn't have to be long. It just has to be real. Because when you bless your home, you're not just protecting bricks. You're protecting hearts. They once knelt together at the altar. With trembling hands and tearful eyes, they said, "I do," before God. But now, years later, do they still kneel? Pope Leo XIV speaks tenderly to married couples. The flame of love is not sustained by romance, but by shared surrender. Too many Catholic marriages today are held together by schedule, obligation, or habit. They share a home. They share children, but not prayer. And when that spiritual thread is cut, everything begins to strain. The Church teaches that marriage is a sacrament, not just a union, but a visible sign of invisible grace. That grace must be nourished, and nothing nourishes like prayer. Yet how many husbands and wives pray together? How many end the day in silence, hand in hand, whispering a single Hail Mary? How many bless each other before sleep, or place their struggles before God, together? Pope Leo tells of a couple who came to him in crisis. "We fight often," they said. "We've grown apart." He asked them one question: "When did you stop praying together?" The wife wept. They couldn't remember. He gave them a small mission: one Our Father each night before bed, holding hands. Weeks passed. Peace returned. This is not emotion. It is grace. Prayer in marriage is not a duty. It is a shield. A way to say, we belong to God. And we will not fight each other, but for each other. So if you are married, ask today, do we pray together? Do we invite grace into our home? If not, begin again. Even if it feels awkward. Even if it's just one short prayer. Because the couple that kneels together does more than stay together. They become a light to the world. Once the family meal was sacred. Not because of the food, but because of the presence. Because souls gathered. Because prayer was said. Because hearts were united, if only for a few minutes. But now, plates are filled in silence. Phones glow beside forks. The television hums in the background. And grace before meals, that once simple, powerful act of Christian identity, has quietly disappeared. Pope Leo XIV observes this with deep sadness. When a family forgets to give thanks, they begin to forget who they are. The Church teaches that gratitude is not just polite, it is holy. It is what lifts the ordinary into the sacred. And the family meal, when joined with a prayer of thanksgiving, becomes a kind of Eucharist, a small participation in the great mystery of divine gift. But today, even among believers, that moment is rushed, or mocked, or forgotten. We say, we're too hungry, or it's just fast food, or worse, God knows we're grateful. Yes, He knows. But prayer is not for Him alone. It is also for us. It softens the heart. It reorients the soul. It teaches our children again and again, we receive from God. Pope Leo tells of a boy who, after spending the night at a Catholic friend's home, said to his parents the next morning, "They pray before meals. Why don't we?" The parents looked at each other in silence. That one child, with one question, reignited a forgotten fire. Today, let that fire return to your table. Even if it's awkward, even if it's new, even if it's just "Bless us, O Lord." Say it. Say it aloud. Let it break the silence. Let it claim the table. And you will find that even the simplest meal, when blessed, tastes of heaven. There was a time when Sunday meant something. Massachusetts rest. Family. Stillness. The soft joy of knowing the day was not yours, but God's. But for many families today, Sunday has become just another day. Groceries, sports, or screens. The Lord's Day is now the world's day. Pope Leo XIV speaks firmly, a home that forgets Sunday forgets heaven. The Catechism calls Sunday the foundation and confirmation of all Christian practice. It is not optional. It is not flexible. It is a commandment, not to burden us but to bless us, because we need rest. We need reordering. We need to remember we are not machines. But the world pushes harder. And many Catholic families are collapsing under the weight of distraction. They miss Mass not from defiance, but from fatigue. They forget not from rebellion, but from routine. And slowly the Sabbath slips away. No more family Mass. No more Sunday breakfast. No more sacred quiet. Pope Leo tells of a young mother who came to confession. She said, "I haven't kept Sunday holy in years. My children don't even know what the Sabbath means." The priest gently placed a crucifix in her hands and said, "Begin again. This Sunday. Together." She did. And it changed their home. Not overnight, but over time. Now Sunday is the anchor. Not a stress, but a shelter. And it can be for you too. Start by reclaiming Massachusetts, make it non-negotiable. Then add one sacred rhythm. Breakfast together, a walk, a reading of scripture, a candle lit before dinner. Let Sunday become different. Let it become His. And your home will remember the rhythm of heaven. One quiet Sunday at a time. There is a room in every home that holds secrets. Not the living room, not the kitchen, the bedroom. It is where the soul rests, where tears are shed, where children dream, where couples speak or fall silent, where anxieties gather on the pillow like dust. And yet, it is often the most unblessed room in the house. No crucifix, no prayer, no peace. Pope Leo XIV laments, when the place of rest loses its blessing, rest itself becomes troubled. The Church has always encouraged Catholics to consecrate every space, but especially the space of the body's rest, because the enemy often whispers at night, in dreams, in worry, in isolation, and the soul, unguarded, grows weary. How many Catholics lie in bed unable to sleep, scrolling endlessly, whispering fears, replaying wounds, but never once inviting the Lord into that silence? Your bed is not just a place of sleep. It is a place where God can speak. Saint Joseph rested, and in his dreams, God gave him the future of the Holy Family. Saint Teresa of Avila kept a small crucifix under her pillow and said, "Even in sleep, I want my soul turned toward Him." Pope Leo tells of a married couple who began blessing each other before bed. A simple gesture, the sign of the cross on the forehead and the words, "May the Lord give you peace." Their nights changed. Arguments softened. Dreams grew gentle. This is not ritual. This is remembrance. So tonight, begin again. Place a crucifix above your bed. Say one Hail Mary as you lay down. Bless your children as they sleep. Place a rosary under your pillow, not as superstition but as companionship. And whisper, "Jesus, stay with me." You are not alone in that room. He watches. And when you wake, let the first thought be thanks. Let your bedroom return to being a chapel. Even in the dark, grace is near. It may feel overwhelming. So much has been lost. So many habits forgotten. So many flames extinguished. But Pope Leo XIV speaks with hope. The home can be rebuilt. Not in grandeur, but in grace. Not in one day, but one prayer at a time. The domestic church is not a perfect place. It is a holy effort. The Catechism calls it the first school of Christian life. And schools don't require saints, they require students. So become a student again. Start small. Light a candle before dinner. Say one Our Father together. Go to confession as a family. Clean one room while playing Gregorian chant. Place holy water by the front door. Tell your children one story of a saint each week. You are not performing religion. You are planting eternity. And what you plant now, your children will harvest. Even if they stray, they will remember. Even if they resist, they will carry the scent of your prayer like perfume on their soul. Pope Leo tells of a mother whose children had left the faith. She did not argue. She did not beg. She simply prayed, lit a candle every night, kept their names before Mary. Years later, one by one they returned, not because of debate, but because of the memory of home. A home that once glowed with faith, and still whispered it in their dreams. You can rebuild, even if it's quiet, even if it's messy, even if you're the only one praying. Heaven sees. Mary walks your halls. And the Lord is already knocking at the door. Open it. Welcome Him back into every room. Let your home burn again with holy fire, and the cold will flee.